Hello and welcome to my review of Batman Arkham City on the Xbox 360 and PS3. Whoa! Whoa! Sorry, I'm still recovering from all that awesome that just hit me. Arkham City takes place 6 months after the original game, Arkham Asylum. Batman is thrown headlong by Hugo Strange, a deranged psychiatrist, into Arkham City, a sealed-off part of Gotham City used to trap all the inmates and villains that run amok in Gotham. And what essentially ends up happening is that, as Batman, you're thrown into this huge gang war involving all of the classic Batman villains, while also having to fight for your own life. I don't even know where to begin with this game. This thing is so freaking good. I thought Arkham City was a masterpiece when I first played it, and I still do. But Arkham City makes Arkham Asylum look like big rigs. Props to you if you got that comparison. The first thing I can definitely praise this game for, it nails the atmosphere of Batman. Everything from graphics to the gameplay to the voice acting, everything about it is purely straight ripped from the Batman animated series, the classic one, not all this new crap. The original Batman animated series, and there's no better way to throw you headlong into the world of Batman than that. Let's talk about our environment, which is Arkham City. Now, in the first game, Arkham Asylum is definitely an interesting place to run around and explore, but it definitely got bogged down in the long corridors and whatnot, and I felt like there was definitely some wasted potential. This game takes that potential and delivers it in spades. Arkham City is as much of a living, breathing, free-roaming world as I think I've just about ever seen. As Batman flies through the city, he hears these radio signals coming from the henchmen on the ground, and they're basically telling you the story of what's going on in the game. Just by listening to their conversations, you can get a sense of all the different factions of this gang war and their interactions. Not just that, but it's just got such an attention to detail. This game's got a ton of side missions, that's one thing I should mention. And normally side missions in video games are very half-assed, and they don't really put a whole lot of story and effort into them, and they don't really add much. These are full-blown missions pulled straight from the Batman lore. Like, one of the side missions is looking for Deadshot, another one is tracking down Victor Zsasz, and all of them are just so unique and add their own separate gameplay elements that maybe aren't as prevalent in the main campaign. And this game just lives and breathes, man. It's beautiful. Another thing this game improves on is making you feel truly like Batman, which Arkham Asylum already did wonderfully. In this game, you don't just feel like Batman. You are Batman. One of the great things this game does is that it's not like Metroid where she always loses the same gadgets every time. You start off pretty much with your main set of gadgets that you had at the end of Arkham Asylum, and you build off from there, which is wonderful. And not only that, but just everything about the stealth has improved. The free-flowing combat, which was revolutionary in the first game, has improved by a milestone here. It just feels a lot more fluid and natural and vibrant. And let me tell you something, the double and triple counterings, those help quite a bit. There is absolutely zero doubt you feel like a huge badass in this game. And the amazing thing about it is that the controls, while extremely complicated, never go out of your hands. They never feel like there's too much going on. Everything, by the time you're done with this game, you're just so natural at it, and there's no huge learning curve. It's just, it feels so beautifully natural, and you always feel like Batman throughout 100% of this game. Also, if you buy the game new, you'll get some missions as Catwoman, who is equally fun to play as, and they really tried to distinguish her from Batman in quite a few ways. Like, she's faster, her platforming works differently, just playing with her feels a lot different than Batman. And it's definitely worth picking the game up new, not only because the game's amazing, but the Catwoman stuff really does add on to it. And finally, perhaps the most interesting part of this game to me, which is the storytelling in it. Man, does this thing have a good story. It's amazing to me how all the villains in this game, you don't only get to interact with them, which was one of my main complaints about Arkham Asylum, is that I felt very distant from the villains in it. In this game, it's the exact opposite. You get to interact and fight with most of the villains from the Batman lore. Well, not most from the lore, but a lot of them, like Penguin, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, etc., etc. There's so many villains to interact with here, and each of them has their own clear motivation, and each has their own unique character to where it's just so fun going after each one and taking them all down. And it just takes the whole morality tale of Batman into some very interesting directions that haven't really been done before, especially the ending. Let me tell you something. You leave this game, and you cannot wait to see what direction they're going to go in with the third one. My one flaw with this game isn't even a gameplay thing, because in my opinion, the gameplay is flawless. But in terms of story, I feel like Hugo Strange could have been utilized a little more, to where he's not just an omnipresent person who you don't even interact with really until the end, but someone who's constantly psychoanalyzing Batman and breaking him down. But the game doesn't really deliver on that promise. Overall, if Arkham Asylum was the template for a perfect Batman game, Arkham City is the perfect Batman game. This thing, not only does it make you feel like Batman, not only does it throw you into the world of Batman, not only is it deep and rich with side quests and Riddler trophies and all that craziness that's keep you busy forever, but it's just so much fun. This is one of the most fun games I've ever played, honestly. I think it's incredible. It's the best superhero game ever made. I loved it to death. 4 stars out of 4 for Arkham City. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and until next time, I'm Movie Kid Mike, making sure your time is worth your money.